Welcome back to the next episode of Digital by AttentionMedia. Today we are talking with our Google strategist, Lou, and in this episode we are going more in depth around Google Ads to touch on certain key topics at the moment, such as the new Advertiser verification program, what it's all about, and how you can progress through that requirement. Then we talk about what to do when Google disapproves your ads. Yes, it does happen. And then finally, some important considerations around geographical targeting inside your campaigns. So today we're getting a little bit more technical, a little bit more tactical, but some important points there, which I'm sure will help you with your PPC advertising. Hope you get lots of value out of this episode. It's coming up next. Welcome to Digital, a podcast brought to you by AttentionMedia, a location-agnostic digital growth agency helping businesses become iconic brands. On this show, we dive into the hottest topics, the latest updates, and what's working in social media and digital marketing right now to get you up to speed and keep you informed. And if you want to grow your business through strategic digital marketing, head over to attentionmedia.com.au, click on the Book a Discovery Call tab, fill out some details, and we'll be in touch. We'd also love to know if you're listening to this show, so please take a screenshot, upload it to your preferred social media account, and tag us at Attention Media Agency. Let's get into the show. All right, Lou, welcome back to another episode of Digital by AttentionMedia. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here again.
So in our last episode, which was episode 28, for anybody who wants to go back and listen, we were discussing what Google Ads are and how it works. So trying to give people a bit more of an in-depth insight into what Google Ads actually is and how it works. This time, though, we wanted to discuss things that are a little bit more advanced, but also just some of the latest updates with the Google Ads platform as well. So today we wanted to touch on the Advertiser verification program. We also wanted to talk about what to do when Google disapproves your ads, and also some considerations when it comes to geographical targeting. So they're kind of the three main items that we'll chat about in this episode. And if we've got time, I'll also throw in a bit of a helpful bonus tip as well. So stick around for that. But Lou, let's start with the Advertiser verification program first. Can you give us a bit of insight into what that actually is?
Sure. So this started coming out in the past year or so, and its purpose is so that Google can ensure that people and businesses who are advertising on the platform can be seen as trustworthy and legit. So it essentially, if you haven't been asked to yet, you may do eventually just be asked to provide some information about your business just to prove that you're a real company, that you've got an ABN and all that sort of stuff. The purpose is essentially to prove that you're legit and that consumers can trust your brand online, that you're going to sell them what you say you're going to sell them, and all those good things.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, this really is sort of stemming from more regulation in the paid advertising space, I suppose. Making sure that people who are running ads online, like you said, are legitimate. It is a real business or a real organization. Just trying to make sure that the advertising is safe, it's effective, and that's what this verification program is all about. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you will be notified by Google if you are currently running Google Ads campaigns, or you're going to set up an account and start running ads. Google will reach out to you and let you know that you need to go through the verification process. Is that right?
The way that this works is there's no set time, in regards to how old your account is or how long you've been in business. It's all random when Google decides to reach out to you, but there'll come a time. They'll send you an email saying that you're ready for advertiser verification. There is also a place that you can go looking for it in your account settings under the menus. We might have to do a blog or something explaining how to get there.
Nice. Yes, I can imagine. There's a lot of different things in the inside of a Google Ads account, but no, for anybody who does know their way around, that's a good option as well.
Yes, and there's also an advantage to actually going through the verification process. You actually get to display your logo alongside your ads, so there's just a little bit of credibility and recognition for you that your competitors might not have if they didn't get themselves verified.
Perfect. That's a great little bonus. Always good to get that extra branding touch point along the way as well. Fantastic. Excellent. So what types of things are going, if Google does reach out or they do get that notification inside of Google Ads Manager that they need to verify, what types of information do people or businesses need to provide in order to complete that verification?
Just like I said before, you need the identity of a real living person, preferably someone who owns the business or who's one of the key decision makers or owners. Your ABN. You may be asked to provide some sort of certificate of incorporation or business registration if you've got something like that. Those types of things that just prove you're a legit company and you're a real human.
Yeah, and it's nothing too detailed or anything like that. It's basically just your current ID and documentation for the company or the organization you own. So it's not a no. No, definitely not. Quite simple. Excellent. Yeah, and then once that information is submitted, essentially then it's just over to the team at Google. They'll review that information, and you'll get notified when your account has been verified. That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. There's actually another type of verification, just quickly touching on this in case it has impacted anybody. There's the Advertiser verification program, but there's also a financial services verification program as well, which is separate. But for anybody who is running ads or has a business in the financial services sector, there is another a verification program that Google will flag with you at some point as well. So any advertising for financial services after August 20 in 2022, I believe, you will have to have this verification at some point. And essentially, the reason for that is the business needs to demonstrate that they are licensed by ASIC, essentially, in order to run ads that are promoting financial services. So we've definitely come across that with several of our partners inside the agency previously. Has been a little bit of a tedious process. It is not quite as straightforward as the advertiser verification program, but nonetheless, a very similar program essentially, and for the same reasons.
Yeah. So if this comes up, it does get handled by a third party that sort of bridges you and Google and the requirements. But yeah, you do need to make sure that you've got your documents on hand when you're being asked for this.
Yeah, excellent. What about disapproved ads, Lou? Talk to us about those and how we can handle that if it ever pops up.
Yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while because sometimes it's a source of panic with our clients, our partners. But if you're one of our partners and you get an email saying that your ads have been disapproved, we're probably getting the email at the same time as you.
Yes.
So we'll be aware of it too.
That's point number one.
It might not necessarily mean that you've done something wrong. There are a lot of cases where it's simply just a false alarm. Google might have sent its robots to scan and analyze your website and picked up something that looks or sounds like the name of a restricted drug when that's actually not what you're selling.
Yes.
But the Googles just might make the spiders might make mistakes like that. So we have to tell them, no, actually, we're not selling those drugs. And then when we go through the appeal process, then it actually gets checked by a human. They can say, okay, yeah, you're not really selling those drugs. Your website's fine.
I think that's a great point to mention as well, too. With when you do submit a campaign, you do submit ads for approval before they go live, the first round of review is done by the machine learning. It's done by a robot. So obviously, there are going to be times where the robot gets it wrong or it doesn't have all the information, and that is generally the reason for disapproved ads, which when you request the review, like you've just mentioned, then it is done by an actual human who can have a look and very quickly can turn that over and then approve those ads. So that's the sort of two-step process. But like you said, most of the time it's just that the robot's got it wrong. It's made a mistake, and once you submit review, as long as everything is in line with the advertising policies for the platform, then everything's sweet.
And there are other reasons too why your ads might get disapproved. Another common one that I've found is when you're sending your ad, your click to page URL and that page address is moved or deleted and you don't go and change that in your ads, that can cause disapprovals as well. So in those situations, we just need to make sure that the ad is going to the right destination and, if necessary, set up redirects on your website for those moved pages so that Google knows where it's gone to.
I think we might have touched on this on a previous episode too, but it's a good point to mention again. When we are setting up ad campaigns, we can often just focus our attention on the ads, but we also need to remember where are those ads taking people? Where's the traffic going to? And obviously to make sure that the landing pages, the websites, wherever that traffic is going to, is also set up via best practices and also meets the advertising policies of the platform too. So that's an important point to note.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've not personally seen this, but I've seen other people who run Google ads who've maybe taken over an account from someone else, and they've seen ads, clicks being sent to pages to, say, collect an email address for a subscriber or a lead that actually isn't working. So they've been sending the clicks, but not actually getting their leads.
Yeah, exactly.
So we really want to try and avoid that if we can.
It's very important to make sure that the entire funnel flows and works properly, and not just to get excited about publishing that campaign. Awesome. Any other tips when it comes to disapproved ads or trying to make sure that the ads don't get disapproved in the first place?
Oh, yeah, sure. There's another thing that can happen where you might be using trademarked words in the ad copy.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you can't. Some brands are very protective of their brand names. Sometimes the Google robots also might be a bit protective. Say things if you're running like a windscreen repair for cars company and you've got the word Windows in your ad, the robot might mistake you as being somebody who's like selling Windows operating system for computers.
Sure.
Things like that could happen.
Yes. Yeah.
So we just
Yep.
need to be mindful of kinds of language we're using. Punctuation as well. Google can be a little bit fussy about punctuation, so we need
It
to
can.
make sure that we're not
Yes.
really excessive with exclamation marks or
Yep.
capital letters and stuff like that too.
Yeah, exactly. Just it obviously promotes good grammar. So if you're trying to put in 2 or 3 exclamation marks into your headline, normally that's going to get flagged and won't go through. So definitely something to keep in mind. Excellent. Now the third thing that we're going to touch on today was the geographical location component of setting up campaigns and some considerations there. So what do you have for us around that, Lou?
Sure. Well, I have recognized for some businesses that it's important to create a presence and become recognized in their own little geographic area. But what I've been finding is that there are certain areas where the population might just not be dense enough in order for Google to work its magic and collect data and learn the best people to show your ads to. And so if the population and the data is not there, Google might not show your ads, or they might sort of show your ads to the next best thing, the next best person, which is over in another state maybe. And these are things that we can't really help. If the data is not available, then Google's going to be really limited in terms of what it can do and automate and optimize your campaigns for the best results.
Yeah, that's something that we kind of see across the board with different advertising platforms now as well, not just Google, but you do have to be careful around that audience size and while you don't. Sometimes you may not want a wide, broad audience with millions of people. The opposite of that, having a really small audience, like you mentioned, is sometimes just not enough. There's not enough people, there's not enough search volume, etc., in order to run the campaigns. So, is there anything else that we can kind of do in that sense? Like if we are talking local businesses or small businesses that are operating in a fairly small geographical area, is there anything that we can kind of do to get around that or make sure that the ads are delivering the best they can be?
I think one thing that I would like the advertiser or the business to be a little bit more open-minded to is just widening the net a little bit, not being so restrictive to the 1 or 2 suburbs.
Yep.
We might also consider other platforms too. Perhaps your audience, maybe we may be better suited to using Facebook instead of Google, because there's more people
Yeah.
who use that platform in your area.
Yeah, it's a great point. Not just relying on the one channel. That's a common problem, I think. Sometimes there can be a lot of restrictions, whether it's a budget restriction or a resource restriction. But people will look at one particular platform. But in this day and age, it really is about diversifying your different traffic channels, your different marketing channels. So that's a great point in also leveraging other platforms to help increase the amount of search volume, increase the amount of traffic, and that in turn will boost the effects of your search campaigns.
Yeah, actually, I did also want to raise that if you are using the radial targeting option, instead of suburb boundaries or state boundaries, that actually has about an 80-kilometer margin of error. So if you're using the radius, you might actually get
Right.
people who are like up to 80 kilometers out, and that's just the nature of the algorithm and the data.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Google relies on being able to tell people based on where their phones are pinging to, towers and stuff like that. So it's doing the best it can with the limited data accuracy.
Yeah, of course. Now, there's always some variations.
Yeah, if the population area that you're targeting is more dense, then Google will have a much better quality range of data to work from in terms of where people actually are.
Yeah, nice, nice. And that, in terms of using that radius, do we have other options? Like I know within Google Ads, we can often target, postcodes and things of that nature as well. So would that sometimes be a better option?
If you're concerned about the radius targeting go too far out of the radius, then yeah, I would definitely consider using postcodes, suburbs, or even state boundaries, if that makes sense for the area that you serve.
Yeah, fantastic. Love that. Any other points that we need to cover today, Lou? Anything else you want to discuss?
Well, I think maybe we should look into that bonus tip that you were hinting on.
That's a great segue. I love it. Thank you. The bonus tip that I was talking about. So this is in relation to something that is fairly new, actually, as well across the Google Ads platform, and that is the Google Ads Transparency Center. So a bit of a mouthful, but all you need to do is type that into Google itself, and it will bring it up for you. So Ads Transparency Center, and this is where it relates back to the advertiser verification program that we were talking about earlier, because what the Transparency Center allows is for you to enter business names or domain names, URLs of different organizations to see if they are running advertising campaigns currently. And you can then see previews of all the different ads that they are running. So people in the marketing sphere might be familiar with the Facebook ads library or the Meta ads library, where you've been able to type in different business names and see the ads that they have running. Most of the advertising platforms have a form of this nowadays. Google has recently just brought in their version. So it's a great way to, be able to confirm and double check if you're a bit suspicious about any kind of ads that you are seeing. Just wanted to make sure that it's legitimate. But from a marketing perspective, it's also a fantastic tool to either see what other players in your industry are doing when it comes to the ads, see what your competition is doing, get some inspiration as well from different brands that you might be aspiring to. The advice there is always, never to copy, but, get inspiration from. But I found that it's been a fantastic tool. What's your experience been, Lou?
Yeah, I like it as well. I haven't really had too many opportunities to use it yet, but I know that a lot of marketers swear by the Facebook tool that lets you see competitor ads, and this is going to be a great advantage for us going forward, without having to pretend we're a customer and Google search and get our competitors' ads to
Yeah.
trigger. We can just go
So
and use
true.
this tool. Yeah.
Yep, we can save them some ad spend and make sure they're not clicking on any ads, and just leverage the transparency center. But yeah, for anybody who perhaps you've got a bit of a creative block, or you're not too sure, what ads look like in your industry or in other industries as well. It's always great to look outside of your industry to get some inspiration as well. But that is the tip for this episode, is definitely to go and have a look at the Ads Transparency Center. My advice to you is that when you do type in either a business name or a URL into the search bar, if nothing comes up, then that generally means that there are no ads running for that brand or that organization at that time. So it's not a case of you've typed in something wrong or it's not working. It's just that there's no ads running currently. But if there are ads running at that particular time, you will be able to click on those and have a look through. And that's the Ads Transparency Center.
Awesome. Check it out.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Lou. Another fantastic episode. I hope everybody got some valuable insights from that. And always, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Lou, the team, and we'll be happy to help with all of your Google-related questions.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure speaking today.
Awesome, Lou. Thank you very much. So that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we mentioned, we'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this episode. You can do that by heading over to our Instagram at AttentionMedia Agency and letting us know what your thoughts. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to know what you'd like us to talk about in upcoming episodes. So send us your topic ideas. We are always interested. And if you'd love to know more, head over to the website attentionmedia.com.au. That's all for now. We'll see you in the next episode.